There was this film about this woman whose husband died in this avalanche. And 2 years later, she finds his sperm in the freezer and gets pregnant with a turkey baster.
Yeah, because all the lesbians have them now, don't they?
Do they?
Oh, yeah, we're in paper. Did you not read it? They get the sperm off the internet. Bung it into turkey baster, like Dolly says. 9 months later, Bob's your uncle. Fanny's you. Thank you.
Victoria Wood is back on BBC One.
Well, I might watch that. Oh, no, I can't work in here, good.
With her first sitcom starting November the 12th, Dinner Ladies.
I see you as quite a sparky bunch.
Oh, we are.
Alan Davis makes a stand.
Where do your modern girls' pants go to when they take them off? They get smaller and smaller and come off the end of the toe. There's just a little pellet of fabric there. Tom Jones does a gig now and they throw the knickers at him. He could choke to death, the bloke.
Alan Davis, live and untamed, tonight 10:40 on BBC One.
Opening a brand new series now on BBC One. With the help of many of her admirers and some saucy language, Barbara Windsor recalls how she became the best of British.
I'm not a great singer, I'm not a great actor, I'm not a great dancer, I'm not a great looking bird, but you put it all in a little melting pot and it works for me. Evening all!
She's completely and utterly show business orientated.
The glitz, the glamour, the outfits, the boobs.
Because I think everybody in Britain fancied her, but I did fancy her, yeah.
Well, my age group always have an endearing memory of Barbara physically.
Chest like a confectionery counter is what Kenneth Williams said about her. And she's just full of personality, exactly like you'd want her to be.
If you say Barbara Windsor, there's not a person in this country who hasn't heard of her.
Stick your chest out! Cool!
She can be very tough.
She is so tiny. She has the big hair, big boobs, tiny little waist and tiny little feet, and a big mouth.
She's not an icon, she's not a legend, she's unique, splendid, highly British institution.
Barbara Windsor was born Barbara Ann Deeks on the 6th of August, 1937.
I was born in Shoreditch in the East End of London, in the London Hospital. My mum and dad both liked Barbara Ann Scott, who was a famous ice skater. So they called me Barbara Ann. My dad was Jack the Lad, very good looking, wonderful personality, a laugh which I inherited, that one. He married my mother, who was a dressmaker and went to work up west, or whacking great high heels. Very, very lovely looking lady with wonderful red hair, which I'm sad to say I never inherited. She was everything that my father hated, and he was everything she hated. He was a barrow boy, and he wanted to stay in the East End, but Mummy didn't. She wanted to, move to Stoke Newington, because it was posher there. I actually was quite a lonely child. I always seemed to be with grown-ups. I never seemed to be with a lot of other children. And so I never thought I had a very happy childhood. At school, they always said, Barbara Deeks is different.
A natural performer from an early age, Barbara's talents were quickly spotted, and her parents were persuaded to enrol her as a pupil in the Ada Foster Theatrical School.
I had to get 4 buses all the way from Stoke Newington to Golders Green. And of course all these little girls were arriving in Rolls Royces, and very pretty they were, all pretty girls, and I wasn't. I was short, fat and loud. I was not what was in vogue then, you know, masses of ringlets, and as I say, cute little noses and very sweet, and telling me like this, and I heard Robin singing, all like that, you see, and I was, grab your coat and get your head.
After 2 years as the odd one out, Barbara finally got a chance to shine when she was invited to audition for a new musical, Love from Judy.
I auditioned when I was 14 and a half. It was at the Palace Theatre, and there was a huge queue of all these little girls all around the theatre. And I got onto the stage. They let me sing the whole song, which was very rare. And they said, how old are you? And I knew you had to be 15. And I said, well, I'll be 15 by the time the show opens.
At only 4'10", the 15-year-old Barbara had no problem playing a 10-year-old orphan. But she was growing up in other ways.
I went into this show as a little girl of 14 and a half, and I came out, 2.5 years later, teaching on high heels with a 38-inch bust.
The orphans, as they grew up and developed, had to go, you see, because they were all supposed to be very young. And Barbara stayed right to the end. And then a year or so, or months afterwards, I saw Barbara at the Pigalle. And then Barbara was developed as she is known. And I said, good God, you know, how on earth did you do that? I said, you were the orphan who lasted the longest. And she said, well, I used to bind them up, didn't I?
I came out of Love from Judy thinking that I was Miss West End. You know, I'd been in this West End show and nothing happened. I had no qualifications, and so the only time I've been out of work, I got a job in a shoe shop, and I realised it was the men I had to kind of work on to buy the shoes and the bag and the gloves, which the colours were sherry tan and sage green, and I used to run up the ladders. I used to be really naughty and wiggle the bum. I mean, I was a virgin, but I knew that's what made the guys, you know, buy the shoes and everything. And I loved it. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, I had what you call an ordinary life. This girl came up to me, the manageress. She said, what are you doing on Saturday? So she said, oh, why don't you come down to Royal Tottenham? Well, what's the Royal Tottenham? And anyway, I did, and I started to realise what it was all about, what I got the boobs for.
Now using a stage name, the newly christened Barbara Windsor was soon back in showbiz, working in Soho cabaret clubs. She was just 18 years old.
I got a job in a place called the Côte d'Azur in Greek Street. There was me, Eunice Stubbs, and a French lady called Fifi. And we used to come out and sing, what's on in London, what's doing tonight? And, well, that's when I lost my virginity there, because there was all these very good-looking, dark, swarthy gentlemen around. And I remember one of them taking me out, and I went to this party, and I remember saying to Georgia Brown, oh, I did it. And she said, you've been gagging for it at last, she said, you know. It was when I met Peter Charlesworth. It was the agent who I owe a hell of a lot to. And he came to see me in this show.
I was completely enchanted with this little blonde, statuesque little blonde, who really I thought that this girl has got star quality written over her.
When we used to finish, I used to stand on the stage and, you know, after I'd lost my virginity, look around, seeing what geezer fancied me, and Peter came and he kind of knocked on the stage and looked up and he said, I think you're lovely. And I said, oh yeah, do you? He said, I want to become an agent. If I do, I'd like to handle you. I said, oh, would you now?
She had an enormous range of talent that was quite unusual for a girl of her appearance, because what she looked was a typical kind of bimbette. Then I began to sort of push her around into various jobs.
His first job, he said, I've heard that Ronnie Scott wants a new singer. And I said, so he said, go down, sing Sunny Side of the Street. And I did. There was 6 other girls there. And I got the job.
They write all about me in Time magazine, and every cool swinger wants to make my scene. Swing in London, they call it, so come along and swing with me.
At 20, Barbara was becoming a nightclub star.
Trattoria
By then now I was West End, you see. I was in cabaret at Winston's nightclub with Danny LaRue, Ronnie Corbett, Amanda Barry, and I loved that life. I'd come out and you know, it was a very glamorous time in nightclubs. You know, you'd come out and there would be your Victor Matures and your Darryl F. Zanucks. The Diana Dawes would be sitting there, Gina Lollobrigida, and then you'd get the gangsters from south of the Thames and the gangsters from, you know, north of the Thames. And it was a very glamorous time.
You see, of course she was at Winston's, you know, that was a nightclub. And the girl, that was a bloody good training. Better than that Royal Academy of Dramatic Art. I went and watched them, and they could change in 15 seconds. They worked together. They had all these old German businessmen looking at them through glasses, and I thought, that's it.
Peter Charlesworth phoned me up and said, there's an audition for Things Ain't What They Used to Be, and it's to open at Stratford East. And my immediate reaction was, I don't want to go to Stratford East, you know, and I'd not heard of Joan Littlewood, which was very remiss of me, really, because she'd done Taste of Honey. I went for this audition, and there was this lady cleaning a step, and I thought she was the cleaner. And she looked up, she said, hello. So I said, well, hello, how are you? So I said, oh, fine. I said, I've come for this audition. So she said, what's the audition for? I said, oh, some show. I said, called Things Ain't What They Used to Be. They want me to play a prostitute. I said, go to Stratford East. I don't want to go to Stratford East. Who wants to go there, darling? Like that, you see. So she went, nah, rotten place. And I said, oh, yeah, I'll go to the East End. I said, I want West End, me. I said, I work in a nightclub with Danny LaRue. And it's lovely. I saw all the stars coming to see me. It could be quite a flash. Walked out on stage, and I heard this woman's voice say, come on, show me what a Cockney prostitute would do. So I walked up and down saying, short time, mister, you know, £5 a wank, pound for a blowjob, and I think 30 bob for the full car trip. I just walked up and down doing this, you know. And then this woman came up and she said, I think you're absolutely wonderful. Where have you been all my life? And I looked, and it was this cleaner at the stage door. I swear to God, that's the true story. And I went, yeah, hold on, I thought you were the cleaner. She said, yeah, I know. And actually, you got the job at the door. So, you know, and that was Joan Littlewood for you.
But it was a time when there was much more snobbery around, I think, because certainly they had this attitude to Barbara that she was all tits and bum. She was never that. And I thought, that's a bright intelligence, you know, and wit she had, and still has.
There's tops with toppy noses and pudding coffee houses, and things ain't what they used to be.
We'd moved to the West End with Things Ain't What They Used to Be, and she got terrific applause, and she sang a song which Lionel Bart had just about sketched. I mean, hadn't really finished, and she sang, where do little birds go to in the winter time?
There'll be blizzards and snow too in the winter time.
She brought the house down. It was so good.
I'd never been in the theatre and anyone had stopped the show. And I always remember they kind of stood up and applauded.
And nothing could go on for a minute, a full minute. A riot ensued in the theatre. And Barbara, in her own inimitable manner, did something she shouldn't have done, but it was the only thing she could do. She came forward and came out of character and spoke to the audience and said,
I don't know no more. I can't do any more, because I go, I don't know no more. And I said, the next number's better than mine.
If you think I go about with any old guy, make a play for any fella, well, that's a lie. I'm not that sort of a girl. I'm not that kind of a girl. I'm not that type of a girl. No, not me.
I was actually playing the part I was on stage, you know. I was kind of doing that in real life. And I'm really flaunting my sexuality. It was at that time when I thought, I am Miss Hot, you know. And I'd loads of boyfriends. And I never ever wanted to get married. I didn't want to have children. I just loved show business. I was not interested in anybody out of show business because I thought they all thought that we were flighty birds, you know what I mean? They could have their way with us very easily, you know, at it like knives. Although we were, but I didn't want anyone to think I was like that, you see. And then I met Ronnie.
At 21, everything changed when she fell in love with Ronnie Knight, a married man and aspiring villain. He was to dominate her life for the next 25 years.
I'm mad about the boy, and I know it's stupid to be mad about the boy.
This ordinary boy, I thought he was ordinary, you know, a company director, I think they call him, and he was very nice. Peter Charlesworth said, well, I don't know who you're with at the moment, but he's very good for you. He said, you're organised and your work's good, you're different. And so I always feel I owe that to Ronnie. He caught me just in time.
You see, she was tied up with one of these minor villains. And we were then in the garrick when he'd been locked up. And little Barbara had to escape over the roof from the police. But she never said a word against Ron. I would. Oh, I'd tell you once. They said, is that your Ronnie done that job down there? What? You know, down the road. She said, oh, my Ron wouldn't touch dry goods, she said.
In 1961, Ronnie was sent down for receiving stolen goods while Barbara's career was on the up and up, thanks to a starring role in the hit TV series The Rag Trade.
I used to get the odd line, shh, here comes Mr. Fenner, and go, ah, that's all I did, you know, and chew gum.
What happened then with that fella? Well, I broke off our engagement. Why? Well, he wanted to get married.
Ooh, I don't know why you bother with him, I wouldn't.
No. Well, I wouldn't if he didn't have a car.
I wouldn't put her down as one of the world's great comedians. No, she's not. I think she just is a sort of funny little person, and she can't help getting laughs.
He'd been in prison and he came out, and I said to him, Ron, it's ever so different now, darling, because the Rag Trade was on the box. I said, ever so different now. I said, I can't go on buses anymore, love. I said, he said, oh, don't give us all that. What do you mean? So he said, you said you'd never change and you've changed. I said, no, honestly, darling, really. I said, I'm signing autographs all the time. And that night, the night after he came out of prison, we went out to eat. And we got, it was in a car, we got to the traffic lights and people were banging on the car going, you're here, aren't you? You're in that Rag Trade. And we went to the restaurant and it was the same in the restaurant, and Ronnie said, my God, it has changed, hasn't it?
Barbara's own romantic problems were echoed in the plot of her first big film, Joan Littlewood's bittersweet East End drama, Sparrows Can't Sing.
Ain't it a shame sparrows can't sing? Think of the joy sparrows might bring.
I remember saying, oh God, I can't be a star of a film. Haven't you got a smaller part for me, you know? She went, oh, no. I said, it would look silly because Jimmy was so tall and dashing. He was like 6'4" and I was 4'10". And she said, no, I like this idea of this big man with this little lady and you giving him what for.
Aren't you forgetting something?
What's that?
What was that carry on last time you was home?
Yeah, but you're only young once.
Oh, that was those different birds every night.
Yeah, well, you never darned my socks.
Well, I wasn't entitled to.
Yes, you were.
No, I wasn't.
Yes,
Coming
you
home
were.
and bashing the door down, let alone bashing me head in.
She was damn good in that film, Sparrows Can't Sing, with James Booth. A marvellous thing with the kids in the pram.
Hey, wait a minute. Who's that?
Mind your own business.
Who's that kid?
Well, it ain't yours.
I know full well it ain't mine, I'll do ya.
Don't make a scene on the street, Charlie.
Who does it then?
I'm minding it for friends.
What friend?
Never you mind. Look, Charlie, I've made up my mind. I ain't coming back to you. I don't ever meet you again.
You've already met me, haven't you?
Yeah, worse luck.
She's a real actress. Give her anything. You see, no, you get written off as a type. She's no type. I thought she was very real in that film, after all.
Come on, open your shirt. Oh, dear, what a stink.
I can't smell it, I've got a cold.
Oh, I don't know how I'm going to do my wedding cakes with this stuff on my hands.
My wife used to use this on me.
Whew, no wonder she left you.
I can't remember if it was real Vic that she was rubbing into my chest, actually.
Now, don't, you're tickling me.
But of course, very enjoyable experience to be in close contact with Barbara.
At the ABC Cinema Mile End, they made film history by staging the East End's first royal premiere.
With Princess Margaret as guest of honour, Barbara and boyfriend Ronnie Knight were mixing with the cream of London society.
The opening night was just fantastic. I mean, getting out the Rolls Royce, and it was all the stars of that day. The Stanley Bakers, the Roger Moores. It was terrific.
After the premiere, everyone was invited to a glamorous party at the Old Kentucky, a nightclub opposite owned by Ronnie and Reggie Cray.
Now, I didn't know Ronnie and Reggie very well, and I got introduced to them by George Sewell.
I remember Ronnie saying to me, "George, Princess Margaret fancies a drink after the show. You know where to bring her, don't you?" I said, "Yes, Ron." Princess Margaret was supposed to come, but she had a diplomatic cold. But Snowden came, and he was very nice.
The film got received extremely well, and of course, next thing I know, it's a big hit in the States. It opened to wonderful reviews, but they gave them a glossary. They thought they wouldn't understand it. It was funny. I mean, there was the apples and pears, stairs, daisy roots, boots, and in one instant, Jimmy had to say cobblers. They wouldn't say cobblers. They got cobbles to catch. Didn't know it meant bollocks, did they?
Barbara's next film role was as a gangster's moll in the 1964 comedy Crooks in Cloisters.
They wanted Diana Dawes for the part. Couldn't get her, and my name came up.
Well, I'm stating right here and now that this pot-watching lark is a right load of po.
I think she had a good time, Barbara. Yes, basically, yeah. Very nice being the only bird amongst all those fellas, yeah. No, she was great. She was fine. It was a fun movie to do, actually.
I'll chance a couple as well. Hey, what are they?
Sausages. What do you think they are? Deformed scallops?
What have you been doing, torturing them?
And of course, because of Crooks in Cloisters, I got the Carry On movie.
Trainee Agent Daphne Honeybutt, sir.
Number?
382235.
No, your number, not your vital thingamy-jigs.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I forgot where I was for the moment. Actually, it's 4711.
Have you had any experience?
Oh, yes, a little.
As soon as I saw her, I knew she was right. And as soon as she started playing, I can only say she's about the most professional artist I've ever come across.
How do I look?
Oh, smashing, yeah, you look ever so nice. Good. Will you help me on with mine, please?
Of course, yeah.
You better just put it in your handbag, Daphne.
People would pay good money to do that scene, where I had to fit this shoulder holster around her, for want of a better word, and it was. I rehearsed it quite a lot. It was. I kept getting it wrong. You know what I mean?
I wasn't very happy with filming. All this hitting your marks and getting your line. I'm still not good at it. It seemed phony to me. I like to just go out and bum, here I am on stage. I like the freedom of the stage.
By the mid-60s, Barbara was at the pinnacle of her career. Now married to Ronnie Knight, she was the toast of Broadway in Oh, What a Lovely War, and followed that with a smash hit in the West End, Come Spy With Me. But it was the film roles she did at Pinewood Studios as a carry-on regular that made her into a household name. Between 1964 and 1973, she made a total of 9 carry-on movies.
Hi.
I don't think of myself as sexy. I was 4'10", little lady. I look at myself in the mirror. I think I'm sexy. I played at being sexy.
Have you got a large one?
I've had no complaints so far.
Seeing's believing.
It was timing. Not physicality. She had that wonderful little walk, of course, and a wonderful laugh.
And not bring blatant sex into it. But she never did. So therefore, kids in the audience would identify with Barbara Windsor. So would Mum and Dad, so would Grandma and Grandpa. And I think that was a very clever thing. I don't know anybody else who's ever done that.
Blimey. I'm sorry. If I'd known you were in here, I wouldn't have come, would I?
Yes, all right. Just get out of here quick before somebody comes in.
You haven't got any soap on that bit.
When I see something, I think, oh my God, I showed my bum. When they showed a little while ago some of the carry-ons and some of those scenes that I did, I was quite shocked.
Oh, Hector, sorry.
No wonder Mummy didn't talk to me for a long time. I can't tell you the scripts that I got in, taking my clothes off and all the rest of it, and the offers I got also to do Playboy and Penthouse. Penthouse, you know, you've never been photographed sexily. It's always funny sex, you know. But Ronnie Knight wouldn't let me. and it's a shame, actually.
You dance very well, Bet.
Thank you, Madge.
By the early 70s, Barbara had become involved in a long-running affair with her co-star, Sid James.
Oh, no, they never let me be alone with anyone long enough.
No, dancing, I mean.
Oh, yes. But it's very different over there, you know. Do you know what?
Just a joy to work with him. Nothing you could tell him about filming. I learnt a lot from Sid.
With all those beautiful ladies in there, why on earth did you pick on me?
Yeah, there's a couple of things, I suppose.
When people say, oh, do you mind being cast as sexy blonde? I never thought about it because I would be doing something different. It was just another role.
The scripts were never written for people. The people fitted into the parts, which she did perfectly. Well, we played her as much as we could, of course, because she was so good.
But after 10 years of carrying on, Barbara was a victim of her own success and was still, at the age of 37, being forced to play the bimbo.
Show me again.
With pleasure.
It does typecast her, which is a little bit unfair to any artist because she's so versatile.
I think it's a shame that Barbara's judged by the carry-ons because I think she's a far better actress than that.
Although typecast on film, on stage, Barbara was able to claim the role of music hall queen Mary Lloyd, a part she made her own throughout the 70s.
Up to the West End, right in the best end, straight from the country came Miss Maudie Brown. Father cured it, but couldn't endure it, and that's why the lady's residing in town.
I think most people went to see the show because of Barbara. No one else.
It was just a good time for me. I loved it, and I thought I'm going to say it, and I don't say it about myself, I thought I was very, very good.
It was only a friendly kiss, only a friendly kiss.
Every night at 9:10 I had to kiss her. And every night at 9:10, these kisses got a little bit more sensual.
On one occasion, we thought that Morris wasn't being quite passionate enough in the romantic scenes, and I said, oh, go on, Barbara, it's time you took him out and gave him one. And apparently she says she did, but it didn't make any difference to the performance.
Sing a rude song, sing a rude song.
A genuine working-class hero loved by the public for her vulgarity and warmth, Mary Lloyd's eventful life was being uncannily echoed in Barbara's own story.
She was, again, a very funny, irrepressible Cockney, and so was Mary Lloyd. Barbara had also had quite a lot of trouble with men, so she would have understood, I think, that side of Mary Lloyd's life.
She was like me, silly with her money. I don't give my money away all the time. You know, pick up the bills, that's Miss Windsor. And that's what Mary was like.
She went totally into the acting role. She cried. She did this whole part where she knew she was losing her husband. And it was so touching at the end of that show. Nobody ever forgot it because she was so good. And she was actually Mary Lloyd.
In 1980, Barbara's life fell apart when Ronnie Knight was tried for murder. Although eventually found not guilty, the damage was done.
Tomorrow's your wedding anniversary. Any special plans for that day?
Well, I've got to wait and see.
Well, he's going to come and see me in the show, the matinee.
I'm going to see the show and see what
happens. And then we're just going to do
what
we always used to do.
Thank you to everybody who's stood bell for me, all these nice people.
Suddenly I became notorious because I was married to this man who was up for murder and arson. And that's when it became an open book. What they wanted to know what I had for breakfast, what I was doing the night before, whatever, you see. So I always say that was down to him, not because of my work. And he says he got famous because he was married to me. Well, that's ridiculous.
The story ran for months and months, and Barbara became an easy target for the tabloid press.
Up until then, I was famous, but you didn't particularly want to read about me. I mean, my affair with Sir James was never put into the newspapers. I don't regret letting the cameras into my private life because my private life, by then, was out in the open. I was this woman who was married to what the paper said a gangster.
As Ronnie publicly abandoned Barbara, her personal life began to suffer, and with it her career. In the politically correct 1980s, Barbara's bawdy humour was deeply unfashionable. Now no longer a big star, for Barbara the show had to go on, but she was reduced to summer seasons and pantos.
When my career wasn't going so good in the late 80s, when it wasn't really happening, I'd lost a lot of money in a business. I was skint, absolutely skint.
Even when times were bad, she went out and did the clubs. She did End of Pier and she did everything. When times were bad, she got out and she grafted.
It was getting a little bit sad. It was getting a little bit Marie Lloydish because I was playing some places that weren't so wonderful and doing my own lighting. And there was a moment when I nearly put my hands up because I wasn't happy. I always said if I wasn't happy doing it, then I'd go.
But just around the corner came the role of a lifetime.
Action! My first day on EastEnders was just here. I did a long scene with the lovely Ross Kemp who played Grant, and he knew how terribly nervous I was, and this is without a lie, this isn't... Just stand there, I threw up.
And she was very, very nervous, which surprised me, but also sort of made me want to like her more. It was a very endearing quality in her that, she actually was prepared to show her fear.
Apart from your two fists, you got nothing going for you. Do you hear? Nothing! And if I wasn't Courtney's gran, I'd have that child taken away from you. You're unfit to be a father! Don't you dare turn your back on me!
Gilbert!
She's just got an aura about her, and she just, I don't know, she commands respect without being really bossy or without, but at the same time, she will have a laugh and she will have a giggle, and she's just brilliant at making people feel comfortable.
I love the scene where I hit Phil because it's the first time I ever went on without any makeup.
What's going on?
Oh! You dirty little sod!
What?
Don't want me or you'll get another one.
I think she's really done a wonderful job in living down her past, because you can be a victim of your own success.
Action. Frank, are you really sure you want to do this?
I've never been so sure of anything in my entire life.
Cut. Go on.
We actually work well together. I think Frank being with her has brought out another aspect of her, because most of the time she was quite hard-nosed, when it comes to her family. But when it comes to Frank, it's brought a soft side to her character out, which she's enjoying doing, and indeed I am too.
The drunk scene I love because I think I used a lot of me. that was the old bar. My son used to be charming and polite like you. What happened?
Doesn't stop him being lovable, though, does it?
No, exactly. He's not so bad after all.
No, he could grind my pepper pot any day.
I'd look up every now and then playing this pissy-ass lady, and Ross would be holding, and Steve would be holding it all in, trying not to laugh, I enjoyed that very much. I'm one of the girls, certainly. Yeah, I mean, I go out, with the kids from the show. Martine, who plays Tiffany, and Patsy, who plays Bianca. We go out. In fact, I've just had a message from Martine to say, can I see her down the Atlantic bar on Friday night? Robert wasn't supposed to hear that message, but he did. No doubt I will be there. I do boogie. I like to go out and boogie. Usually, somebody always gets hold of me to have a dance, and that's it. I love dancing. I can't wait to get on the dance floor and get the hands up there. And
Barbara likes to party. Most of the people I know, we all flocked her because you know you're going to have a good evening if Barbara's there.
She's such a party girl. You know, if I'm going to refer to any ladettes, I think Barbara Windsor would be the ultimate. I wouldn't take her on in a drinking contest.
I always end up with a terrible hangover when I've had a night out with Barbara Windsor the next day.
In 1979, Robert Dunn was Barbara's personal manager. But now, after 20 years' absence, he has become her new boyfriend.
We've been in love all the time. We've been in love. We've always had a very close relationship from really when I met her. It was a different relationship. It was a strained relationship, and I think that's why it didn't work out in the beginning. But once we got back together this time, it just happened.
I know they say you shouldn't go back, but my relationship with Robert was one that was unfinished business, I always felt, and everything is going great at the moment.
Tonight, Barbara and Robert have come to the National Theatre for the opening of a new comedy by Terry Johnson.
Hello, darling, how are you? Okay?
Set in Pinewood Studios, Cleo Camping, Emmanuel and Dick graphically exposes the deteriorating relationship between Sid James and Barbara Windsor.
I thought you just wanted to give me one wallop.
That is a terrible thing to think.
Sydney, I'm 30 years younger than you. We're both married. We're both unfaithful. It doesn't exactly augur well, does it?
There were things I didn't particularly want them to say or act out, but they did. But because it was written so well and the actors were so fantastic. Oh, darling. Absolutely fucking wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
It's so good to meet you.
You were terrific.
Thank you so much. Come and see what Barbara sent me.
Oh,
flowers, fruit, champagne.
Oh, you deserve all those.
Darling, so good to meet you. I can't believe it.
Thank you.
Did you enjoy it?
Thank you very much. It was terrific. Oh, just right.
Oh God, I'm so pleased. That's the most important thing. If we've got the
Okay. It was wonderful. I've had a few weeps, haven't I? There you go. Yes, I think I'm a living legend and I'm an icon. All those lovely things that people say that I am, and I say, no, I'm not. No, I'm not really. I'm quite enjoying it.
I guess you always knew it. You made me happy sometimes.
I think she'll go on working till the day she dies. I don't think she'll ever stop working. She loves it.
But there were times, dear, you made me feel so bad.
Oh, I think we're going to end up with Dame Barbara Windsor on our hands. Definitely.
I didn't want to tell you. I didn't want to tell you. I want some love that's true.
She honours our people. She honours England. And she doesn't need an MBE or an OBE or Lady Barbara.
You know you've got the brand of kisses that I died for. You know you made me love you.
I wouldn't even call her Lady Barbara. I think Barbara's enough, you know? Babs.
It's all right. Not great, was it? Couldn't earn a living doing that now.
Music put her on the stage.
People acknowledged that she was talented, but quite how to harness that talent was a problem.
But comedy made her a star.
She wants to do that Jane Fonda. That what? That exercise thing, mnemobics.
From the early days
Doing her play, it was just the funniest thing. It was just incredibly funny.
to her new sitcom Dinner Ladies.
She's a bit of an icon. I work with an icon.
Victoria Wood in The Best of British, next Wednesday at 10 on BBC One.
Mulder and Scully, what drives you on? Behind the stories under the skin inside the